Welcome to the Man-to-Man Sports Podcast. I'm Brad.
And I'm Ethan. We got some great segments for you today. We got some breaking news, so we'll go right into that. We got some trade deadline stuff to get right into. Let's get into it. Of course, just the other day we had Eagles trading for the edge rusher Jalen Phillips. In return, the Dolphins got a 2026 third-round pick. In more recent news, we got Seattle sending a 2026 fourth and fifth round pick to the New Orleans Saints for Rashid Shaheed. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've said it. I really like Rashid Shaheed. I think this is a great trade for Seattle. I hate it for the Saints, but I think they see the writing on the wall, and so they're going to try to make the most of an opportunity. Can't fault them for that.
No, I think it's good that they started offering up some players from some draft picks. And so they got a fourth, fifth, and a sixth round pick because the Saints traded their offensive tackle Penning to the Chargers, who lost Joe Alt for the year. And so that's another good trade. Yeah. They need an offensive tackle filling for Joe Alt. It's a good filler. Seattle needed a receiver to fill in for Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
I think that was a great job by Seattle, as they know now that they are NFC championship contenders. And so we'll move on to the next pick. We got, trade, but more picks. Jaguars sent a fourth and a sixth round selection in exchange. The fourth and the fifth round selection is in the 2026 NFL draft to the Raiders in exchange for Jacoby Myers. I think that the injury to the rookie.
Yes, and all in all, they're not giving up a lot to get Jacoby. It's clear that injury is probably more serious than they've let on.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then great. Now they have four good receivers and a tight end. If he's out indefinitely, well, they can fill that slot with a very solid player.
I completely agree. Good for the Jaguars. Good for the Raiders, looking for their future. As they have Genty now in that backfield, they got a future.
Yeah, they need to work on the future. Geno's not the answer.
No.
And so why not build around the pieces you got? Max Crosby, Ashton Genty, and other players, try to hit the lottery with draft picks. So I'm all for it.
Completely agree. I think the winner of this trade deadline was the Jets. Jets getting a 2026 and a 2027 first-round selection, along with A.D. Mitchell, the second-year player who is growing into a good receiver, to the Colts in exchange for Sauce Gardner. A big trade.
Yeah, it really feels the need for the Colts, who desperately needed a corner. They get one of the best.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Jets, what they had wasn't working. You've got a premier player. Capitalize on it and try to build through the draft. I like this trade most of all for Sauce, because now he gets to go play for a competitor.
Yeah, I think it's great for the Colts as they're looking to be Super Bowl contenders. They have the offense to do one of the best offenses in years, a great offense. So they just need like a defensive piece to help them along with that. The Cowboys gave up a 2026 second-round pick and a 2027 first-round pick to the Jets, and a defensive tackle for Quinnen Williams, the defensive tackle. The Dallas is really trying to build that defense.
Yeah, it's kind of a head-scratcher to me. I mean, Quinnen Williams he is one of the best defensive tackles in the league. He's very underrated. He is a stud. I understand that. But you give up half of what you got for
Micah. Yeah, why would you keep Micah?
Right, exactly. You do get Quinnen in the 2-year, so usually those last 2 years don't have guaranteed money attached. So if you need to get rid of him for cap space, it's not a penalty. So I guess that, but personally, I don't see it helping them enough to make them contenders.
Well, yeah, I think that was the thing. Jerry Jones he believes that they're contenders this year when they're not. I think the Quinnen Williams addition isn't enough, but it keeps the fan base hopeful, which I think he's done for years now. Another news is Dallas sending off a 7th-round pick for Logan Wilson from Cincinnati. I think that I don't mind that.
No, actually, I like this trade. you know, they needed a middle linebacker desperately.
Yeah,
The odds of getting one in the 7th round is not very likely.
exactly.
So you got rid of a 7th round pick for a solid player. Is he a star? No. But he's better than what you have, and you're not giving up anything really. So
Yeah, I think it's so funny. Cincinnati's biggest weakness is defense, and then they trade away one of their defensive players for just a 7th round pick. So like, Cincinnati's just like punting this year. I don't get why they just refuse to build a defense. I agree with Stephen A. on this one. Got to get rid of that head coach. He is just cancer for this team.
yeah, I mean, this team has a lot of talent on offense and no money.
No money. They spent it all on offense.
Yeah, so maybe it's not the head coach. I'm not saying it's not the head coach, but maybe he's not the only one that needs to go.
Yeah, maybe head coach and GM.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And so that's the latest in the trade deadline.
I will say I do like the Eagles trade, Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, and Jair Alexander happened earlier this week as well. They're really trying to build that defense up, trying to go for the 2-peat.
Yeah, I don't blame them at all. They are one of the top NFC teams, and I think this will help them certainly be in that hunt for the Super Bowl, and that's what it's all about. So,
Yeah, for the Eagles, that's what it's all about.
and honestly, it's probably a good move for the Dolphins to try to move off of a player when they are struggling as well. So, yeah, I think that's a win-win trade.
Yeah, the Dolphins were shopping off a couple of people. Jalen Phillips was the only deal that could get done. Heard Bradley Chubb and Jalen Waddle was also in the trade block.
Yeah, I know that.
Neither got traded before the deadline.
Well, and they're only assets if you get something for them. And maybe the deal wasn't right for the Dolphins, or maybe no one wanted them.
I don't know. I think the loser of this trade deadline was the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they could have done with the Jalen Waddle on that team. A second receiver is the biggest need right now. They like to run that 3 tight end set, and it does work. They have 3 really good tight ends. But when the tight ends need rest, you need that number 2 receiver, and they don't have one right now.
Yeah, you need that possession guy, and I think that's what they lack, really. I mean, yes, you can do that with a tight end, but I'm more traditional. I like to have the 2 tight end, 2 wide receivers, and then if you got a slot guy that
I think that would be a good addition for slot guy.
Yeah.
Because they have, of course, DK, which can do just about anything but the slot.
Right.
And they have 3 really good tight ends,
So put that slot guy in there, but
yeah.
Hey, they didn't move on it, and that's...
Maybe they were talking about Raheem Shaheed, but someone had a better deal, so maybe they kind of, because that would have been a great slot.
Oh, that would have been ideal for them, but, kudos to Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, they were able to move off of 2 older players because they were able to see that Jackson Smith and Jigba could fill those roles. And then they were able to bring in Rashid Shaheed. I mean, that we were throwing general managers under the bus. This is a general manager that we need to praise.
Yeah, through the last offseason trading for Sam Darnold and trading away DK Metcalf.
Yeah, really made some moves that a lot of GMs wouldn't have made, and they have all paid off.
They've paid off, yeah. So, yeah, that's the trade deadline stuff. Let's move on to our dogs and duds of week 9.
That's right. You may remember we have changed up this segment a little bit. We're just talking about performers on the week-to-week basis. So we're talking about the dogs of week 9. We're going to start off, and I hope I say this name right, defensive end for the Colts, Leota Latu.
Latu, yeah. Great week this week. 2.5 sacks, right?
Yeah, 2.5 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. He was all over the field. Latu is a dog. So moving on to our running back position, I don't think it's any surprise. Chicago Bears, Kyle Monangai leading the league in rushing this week.
Yeah, good week filling in for Swift.
Yeah, coming out of nowhere. I saw him a little bit in the Washington game a few weeks ago. He had a few flashes, but to lead the league in rushing with 179 yards and lead the league in yards per carry, just out of nowhere.
That guy is a
dog for sure. Here's a guy that we love coming back off of injury, leading the league in catches this week. tight end Brock Bowers.
I mean, last year he had 100 receptions for a reason. That's on 12 now that he's healthy. That guy is a dog.
That's right. And how about those old quarterbacks? Joe Flacco, 470 yards in a losing effort, over 100 QBR, gave it his all. This is a dude over 40 years old, trying to make it work in Cincinnati. And before that, in Cleveland, playing his butt off. And he's not the only old quarterback out there doing it.
Yeah, another great quarterback this week was, of course, Matthew Stafford. He's getting up in age, but he's still in the MVP conversation right now, putting on 281 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's, I think, in my book, probably now leads that MVP race with a couple of quarterbacks and running backs having slower weeks.
Yeah, he's certainly in the talk. And these old quarterbacks, I mean, Brady really was the first guy to do it. Now it seems to be a trend. But these old quarterbacks are dogs. All right, now for our dud of the week.
Yeah.
It may come as a surprise to some of you guys, but we're going to talk about the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, having a dud week.
Yeah, lowest completion percentage of his career. Yeah, that's some inaccurate balls by Mahomes this week, a couple of drop passes, and that leads to a low completion percentage. And we'll talk more about that game later, but a tough week from Mahomes.
Yes, he is our dud of the week. That is a segment for Dog or Duds.
Yeah, that's the segment. So we move on to our next segment, of course, the Week 9 recap, where we go over every game this week. We talk about some more than others. But we'll start off with the Thursday night game. We had Baltimore beating Miami 28-6. Henry with over 100 yards rushing. Lamar with 4 passing touchdowns. The offense is looking good again now that the offense is healthy.
Yeah, and not just the offense. I mean, they had great games, don't get me wrong. Henry's still doing it. Lamar coming off an injury, looking like an MVP with no rust. But I want to give a shout out to Roquan Smith this week as well with 12 tackles. I mean, he really brought it as well. This Ravens team, it just goes to show what a difference a MVP player can make on a team.
Yeah, exactly. 2-time. And so we move on to our next game. Atlanta at New England. New England slightly taking this one 24-23. The game ended in a little bit of a weird way. Atlanta had a good chance to win this game, getting the ball with 3.5 minutes left in the game. But Penix on a 2nd and 10 gets an intentional grounding call. He forgot where his running back was. He throws it to the feet of an offensive lineman. Easy call, 3rd and 20 now, leading to a punt with only 2 minutes left on the clock. Yeah, that was really the turning point in that game.
And missing an extra point, too. So if you want to win ball games, you can't do those things.
The extra point to tie it. A couple of turning points in that game that Atlanta had the chance to win or send them to overtime, and they just didn't.
Yeah, they couldn't get it done. On the flip side, New England, done what they've done all year. They beat the lesser teams, and they've played solid football.
Yeah, it can look ugly, but if your record's 7-2, people will think a lot of it.
Yeah. And how about those Titans firing Vrabel? And you can tell that he was definitely not the problem in that team.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. New England, he fits that New England culture as he was a Patriot, so it makes sense.
Very, very much so. And this is his type of football team. Good move for Vrabel, bad move for the Titans. And congrats to the Patriots.
Yeah, so we'll move on to that Titans game. Chargers at Tennessee. Chargers taking this one. Herbert looked great. Probably a contender for our dog of the week. 307 total yards and 3 total touchdowns. Again, leading his team in rushing when his running back is hurt.
Yeah, Herbert is one of those do-it-all guys like Josh Allen. Yeah, he's very impressive. He's certainly an MVP candidate himself. And it's just a shame for the Titans. They can't get it together. This week, actually, the defense played their heart out. But it wasn't enough as a team to get it done. The Chargers doing what they need to do. But I want you to look at these stats here. Jahad Ward for the Titans, 4 tackles, 2.5 sacks.
Saw that, yeah.
Cody Barton, 6 tackles, and a pick 6. I mean, this team was trying their best. There's not enough there, and the Chargers are too good of a team.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Chargers, Joe Alt is ruled out for the season. But as we talked about earlier, signing or trading for, pinning a good offensive tackle to fill in for Joe Alt until the end of the year.
Yeah, solid tackle. Now they got 2 bookend tackles that can hopefully protect Justin Herbert.
Chicago at Cincinnati. Chicago taking this one 47-42. The end of this game was wild. At the 2-minute warning, Chicago is up 41-27. Cincinnati scores a touchdown, gets the onside kick, scores another touchdown. They kick the ball back to Chicago with 50 seconds left. So they did all that in like just over a minute. And then Chicago scores a 58-yard touchdown. After the game, the offensive players were mad, calling out the defense for only needing to get 1 stop in that entire game. They couldn't get a single stop.
Yeah, the Bears look, both teams are just crazy good on offense. This is a good old-fashioned barn burner, as they say.
Yeah.
We already talked about Flacco's efforts. We talked about Kyle Monanga's running efforts, and not to mention Cody Loveland, the rookie tight end. He had over 100 yards receiving.
Yeah, Colston Loveland was the
Colston, yeah,
had that 58-yard touchdown with only 17 seconds left.
Yeah, crazy. Second touchdown of the game too. So he had quite a performance. T. Higgins over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. If you like offense, this was your kind of football game.
Yeah, a bunch of offense, no defense to be seen. I thought a funny stat was DJ Moore, the receiver, had a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown.
Yes.
Pretty funny. Didn't do much in the receiving game, but they found ways to give him the ball and to be productive with it. The passing touchdown being a little Philly special to Caleb Williams having a receiving touchdown.
Yeah, kudos to the Bears opening up that offense.
Ben Johnson playbook is deep, and he showed how deep it was this week. He had a couple of trick plays. So that was the offensive battle of the week. So we'll move on to Indianapolis at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh taking this one 27-20. A crazy game. Steelers defense finally showing up, causing 6 turnovers, 5 of which came from Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Daniel Jones has really been really great this year. I mean, he's been amazing. Jonathan Taylor's been an MVP contender. And you get this, so Daniel Jones threw 342 yards, but his QB rating was a 63.
Yeah, they threw the ball 50 times, but they were down pretty much the entire game.
Yeah.
That Steelers defense was amazing this week. I really want to give props to them. They traded for a safety as well before the trade deadline, one that we didn't bring up.
Okay.
But I think that's a good addition. The defense looked really good this week. I think if they consistent, that's the thing with the Steelers though, is consistency.
Yeah.
When they have games like this, they look like they're Super Bowl contenders playing the Indianapolis Colts like this. But then there's some weeks like they had against Cincinnati where they just make a couple of mistakes, and you can't have that.
No, you can't. You know, T.J. Watt's the leader of that defense. He had an outstanding game here. And, you know, a lot of times it falls on the leaders. I'm not saying T.J. Watt's the fault, the reason they don't play well sometimes. But when you are the leader, you have to assume the position and say, guys, let's get together. No more breakdowns. And they've definitely done that this week.
Yeah, him and Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey, you know, is vocal. He may not be like the captain on the chest type of guy, but you know he has words to say in that locker room.
Yeah.
Not only causing those 6 turnovers, but holding Jonathan Taylor to under 50 rushing yards. Not a team had done that this year because he's looked so good and had steals. Of course, Mike Tomlin's the one to find a way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, Tomlin is really good on defense, and especially against stopping the run and getting quarterback pressure.
Exactly.
And that's what the Steelers were able to do. But like you said, I can't stress that enough. No one has stopped Taylor all year. He's rushing for over 100 yards. He's scoring multiple touchdowns a game. And the Steelers showed how you do fix it.
Yeah. Not everyone can have a Mike Tomlin or T.J. Watt, but they have the game plan in case they do go up against them again in the playoffs, which could happen very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, both these teams are going to win their divisions, though, so not in the first round, but sometime in the playoffs, maybe.
Yeah, it does look like these are divisional winners, and that, you know, anything can happen in the playoffs, so we'll see.
Exactly. Great game there. We'll move on to San Francisco at New York against the Giants. San Francisco taking this one 34-24, where McCaffrey, of course, MVP, 173 total yards and 2 total touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a great game. Really was the workhorse. I think he led the league in carries this week. He had 100 yards, plus he had all the receiving yards. And they really leaned on him when they needed a win, and they got it.
Yeah. Yeah, a good win against the Giants. Giants are really hurting right now from the injuries they have had throughout the season. Got a bright future, though. I believe in them in the future.
Yeah, the one positive I'll give to the Giants is Jackson Dart probably had his best game of the season.
He's looking good.
He's getting there, yeah. So, Giants next year, Malik Neighbors, if they get everybody about healthy, they've got a real shot of contending next year.
Yeah, I could see it. We'll move on to the next game. We got Denver at Houston. Denver taking this one 18-15. Broncos winning this with a last-second field goal in a big defensive battle where C.J. Stroud unfortunately faced a concussion in the first half.
Yeah, if you like defense, this was definitely the game for you.
Yeah.
Both these defenses are top-notch. Like you said, CJ went down. And really, Houston had this game in hand until that happened.
Yeah.
After he went down, they could not really generate offense, and they struggled mightily. The Broncos were able to come back yet again and scrap out a win. So kudos to them. Not Bo Nix's best week. But they found ways to win the football game. So
yeah, and kudos to that Broncos defense, not giving up a touchdown this week. All 15 points coming from field goals.
That's exactly right. Yeah, very impressive. This defense continues to shine.
Yeah, the great defense battle. Love to see it. Move on to our next game. Big upset this week. We got Minnesota at Detroit. Minnesota taking this one 27-24. Kevin McConnell, he does it again. The quarterback whisperer. He gave his quarterback time to heal, which not a lot of teams do. They gave him time to heal. He comes back healthy and looked good this week. Not that he did anything special, but he did what you need to do as an NFL starting quarterback. He didn't turn the ball over, and he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, I'll say this. Did JJ come out? Maybe a little rust in the first quarter.
Yep.
But he showed he made NFL throws in this game, and that's what impressed me the most. His leadership is top notch.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
He is a leader of men, and a lot of times that you need that more than anything. And you can tell the difference between him on the field and Wentz on the field. And not necessarily that he has the talent Wentz has, but he was able to orchestrate this offense much better. He didn't turn the ball over. He made pro football throws, and this is why they let Sam Darnold go.
Yeah, that leadership led him to a national title at Michigan with Harbaugh. So he had a great teacher in college. He took his time and went to the NFL. I think that's what McCarthy's seen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is a good team. The Vikings defense is solid. They have two outstanding wide receivers, a good solid tight end, and a good offensive line. This is a team that, as long as they can stay healthy, can catch fire and be one of those teams you don't want to play at the end of the year.
Yeah, this team's looked at their best with McCarthy and Aaron Jones on the field. Of course, Aaron Jones coming back this week. Aaron Jones averaging over 9 yards per carry and nearly 100 yards total. Great game by Aaron Jones.
Yeah, and what I liked is they didn't overload him in his first game back.
Exactly. But he did a lot with those carries. I think he had 9 carries for like 70 yards and a couple receptions for 20 yards.
Yeah, they kept it a good mix with him and Mason, kept him fresh, and if they can do that, then look out for the Vikings.
Yeah, this game being a 3-point game, the only difference maker I could really tell in this game was Minnesota's kick return. Miles Price had 164 kick return yards, and his longest, of course, being a 61-yarder. That set them up for a field goal, and they won by a field goal.
And that's not even counting the one he returned for a touchdown that was called back.
I think that's what that was. He got the touchdown that was called back, so it was like 61 yards, but he had 2 big returns.
Oh, yeah. He was a monster in this game. It just shows how special teams can factor into a win.
Exactly. Great job by him. And like you said, special teams matter. I think Dan Campbell's going to really get on that this week.
Yeah, definitely. Motor City Dan Campbell, with the Lions are still a top-notch team.
Of course.
They just ran into a buzzsaw here that they didn't see coming. So
yeah, Minnesota getting their revenge for last year.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Move on to our next game. Staying in the same division, though. Got Carolina at Green Bay. Carolina taking this one, another upset, 16-13. Name of this game was time of possession. Great game plan by the Panthers, limiting the big plays, which is what the Packers are known for. I think they took a page out of the Cleveland's book. They limited the big plays. They said, take those dink and dunk plays and it worked out. Packers got into the red zone 5 times, but were only able to convert once, 1 of 5, where the Panthers were 2 of 3. That was the difference in this game.
Yeah, and talking about two teams that I can't seem to figure out. Right? The Packers look so good and so bad. The Panthers look so good and so bad. But the Panthers had the better game plan here. They said, Rico, here's the ball. And they just kept giving it to him because they kept eating that clock and putting the pressure on Packers to do something with less time. They limited those plays and bend don't break defense. And like you said, that was the difference in the game.
Yeah, great game plan. Rico, like you said, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great game plan where they were just running the ball, and then the Packers kind of fell into that trap. They were running the ball. They threw the ball a couple times, but Jordan Love wasn't really on his game. I guess because he's a big play quarterback, and that's what they were limiting.
Yeah, they were. And then, they done a good job against the run with Derek Brown in the middle as well. This guy just gets better each year. I'm very impressed with him.
Yeah, some unfortunate news though. Tucker Kraft is unfortunately out for the season. I think tearing his ACL.
Yeah, I think that was the word. I'm pretty sure that's right. Either way, he's done for the season, and that's a huge loss for the Packers.
Yeah, I really thought they were Super Bowl contenders, but I think without Tucker Kraft, I don't see it anymore.
Yeah, it would have been great if they could have went out and got a tight end this week to take that spot, but they weren't able to do so. We'll just see if they can adjust.
Yeah, I know they were talking about training for a tight end, but I don't think they got it done.
Yeah, I didn't see nothing anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think if they did, but they couldn't. Unfortunate. Oh, I've seen that they were interested in Freiermuth. They were trying to trade for Freiermuth.
Surely the Steelers won't be rid Freiermuth.
Well, that's the thing. They have 3 tight ends and needed a receiver, so maybe they wanted for a receiver, but they couldn't come on time for a receiver.
Yeah, maybe not. It would have been great if they could have got the kid from Virginia. Oh, wow. Christian Watson.
Oh, okay.
He's a good slot receiver.
He's not a slot receiver. He's an outside deep guy.
Is it Dobbs? Is he the guy then?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't trade Dobbs either though.
Yeah, so, Dobbs or the rookie. Don't trade your rookie.
No. Yeah, those guys are off limits.
Actually Golden. He may be their slot. I'm not sure who their slot is.
Matthew's so fast.
Christian Watson's the deep guy. He averages like 28 yards per catch.
Oh, gotcha. So, yeah. So, man, that's probably because we're getting just 3 guys. I mean, everybody did them too. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. What's the next game?
I was on the line to there we go. All right. You ready?
Yep.
All right, so we move on to our next game, Jacksonville at Las Vegas. This game going into overtime. Yeah. Jacksonville taking it out 30-29 as Vegas went for 2 to win the game.
Yeah, don't fall for that move at all. You're on the road. You got a shot to steal a win here. You go for it. It just didn't work out for them. The guy was actually wide open, but it was batted down in line of scrimmage. So what do you do?
Great play call, but whoever called that play couldn't get done. As we already talked about, Brock Bowers, 12 receptions, 127 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was the offense.
Yeah, what a difference. We keep saying that, but what a difference a player makes, right? Because this Raiders offense was pretty terrible until he's healthy. And here against a pretty good defense, they played a good ball game.
I think it's funny that Las Vegas traded away Jacoby. Do you think they do that if they win this game rather than lose it?
I think they probably do, just because either way, even with this win, I'm not sure they think they can get into the playoffs this year, so why not build for the future? But, who knows? They win this. The Davises are wildly famous for being erratic. Maybe they go all in and try to bring in players themselves.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next game.
Absolutely.
All right. New Orleans at LA against the Rams. We got the Rams taking this one 34-10. Rams dominated. all forms of offense in this game.
Yeah.
Time of possession was 44 minutes to 16 minutes, dominated by the Rams. Kyron Williams, little sleeper game. Of course, he had 114 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, Kyron Williams and Blake Corum are quite the backfield.
We'll move on to the next game. We got Kansas City at Buffalo. Buffalo taking this one 28-21. Turning point of this game being an interception by Maxwell Harrison with under 5 minutes left.
Yeah, this game was everything that we hoped it would be, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was two top 10 teams playing their butts off, two top-level quarterbacks giving it their all. The Bills were the better team today.
I completely agree with that. Mahomes with his worst completion percentage of his career. Talking a lot about the same things, but I brought that up just to bring up Josh Allen, on the other hand, was 23 of 26, a very high completion percentage.
Yeah, and he done it all. James Cook had a heck of a game as well. And so, the Bills just done it the old-fashioned way. They just went out there and smacked them in the mouth.
Yeah, Josh Allen, 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown.
Yeah.
Over 270 yards passing, and Kincaid was the beneficiary of that, 101 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, and then not to mention you had Cook with 100 yards plus rushing.
Yeah.
I mean, they went out there and manhandled the Chiefs like they should.
Yeah. The Chiefs defense, we saw a stat. If you watched the game, the stat was the Chiefs defense hadn't let up a 100-yard rusher since December of 2023. Crazy stat, good defense, and James Cook is, of course, good enough to beat that.
Yeah, but they didn't rely just on Cook, and I think that's why they were successful.
Yeah.
They were able to mix in, Kincaid and the other tight end.
Oh, yeah, Dawson Knox had a good game as well.
Yeah, Knox, and then, of course, the receivers getting involved. So they really mixed it around and then gave it to Cook, when the Chiefs really weren't expecting it, and it worked.
Yeah, I agree with that. We move on to our Sunday night game. We had Seattle at Washington. Seattle taking this one 38-14. A lot of injuries in this game, but Sam Darnold was Sam Darnold's game. 21-24, 330 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, didn't throw an incompletion in the first half of the game.
Yeah, that's
very
crazy.
Impressive. 5 possessions, 5 scores. To start the game out with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard to beat. And really, they took the foot off the gas, off the pedal there at the end. This game could have been a lot worse than it was for Washington. Washington, really no answer on defense whatsoever. Injuries continue to pile up. Everyone wants to talk about Jaden. It's very unfortunate accident. He's going to be out several weeks. Luckily, no major break or anything. It's just desolate in Washington right now.
I thought you were going for decimating.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Desolate and decimating.
Yeah.
But we can't leave out Jason's numbers in this game.
Oh, yeah.
8 receptions, 129 yards, making this 6 out of 8 weeks this year that he's had over 100 receiving yards.
Yeah, this offense, all cylinders. I think I heard 3 different times, this is his first touchdown of the year. They really...
when it's a Sunday night game, I have Chris Collinsworth on mute. I suggest that for everyone.
He's been around a long time, and I think
that's the only reason why he saw the job.
Yeah, I think maybe it's time, Chris, to hang it up, buddy.
Our Monday night game this week is Arizona at Dallas, and Arizona took that one 27-17. Reporters after the game asking if Brissett should be the new starter in this good game, but I disagree. What are your thoughts?
I disagree as well. I think Brissett has certainly played his butt off this year. He is a good veteran backup, but that's what he is. And I got nothing against Jacoby. I think he's a great person as well as a good player. But this is Kyler Murray's team, and let Brissett help him if that's what you think.
Well, yeah, I don't even think that because Kyler Murray's had a good season, but I think it's just that recency bias. Brissett had a good game, and all these reporters were like asking Cannon Oh, Brissett should be the starter, right? And with Gannon was very firm on this is Kyler's team. There's no question.
Yeah, that's just media being media.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people tell me, "Oh, what an upset!" I mean, we both picked this
Yeah.
game. I think
It's just people looking at records instead of team and like how they've actually been playing.
exactly. And I got to give a shout out to the backup running back there that came in as well. Amari. I don't know if I can say his name.
McCarter.
D. McCardo. Really, played well. 79 yards isn't a lot, but he averaged 5.6 yards a carry, and kind of eat up a lot of clock time for the for the Cardinals against the Cowboys. And the Cardinals defense done what they needed to do against a good offense.
Yeah.
So I got to give the Cardinals all the props in the world here.
Yeah, the defense surprised me. I didn't expect them to come out. I thought it was going to be more high scoring game. The defense showed out. As you said, good running game. This offense was really just a spread of everyone putting in their job. Brad had a good game, but the best receiver was Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes.
On the rise this season. 7 receptions, 96 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, really starting to show the potential everyone knew he had. This guy is for real.
Mm-hmm.
And if you thought he wasn't, then, you're wrong.
That's just some people giving up on a rookie too early. I felt for that, to be honest. I thought after week 1, I thought, yeah, maybe not the best. But he really had a snap at halftime, and I forget what week it was, but one of the games, and he just has been great ever since.
Yeah, well, and if you look at receivers throughout history, usually their third year is their best year. He's only on his second year.
Yeah, he's on pace.
So to me, you don't judge a receiver until he's 3 years in.
That's a good rule of thumb. And that is our week 9 games. Our bye weeks were the Philadelphia Eagles, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Cleveland Browns, and the New York Jets. But the Jets and Eagles were definitely not out of the news. We'll move on to our top 10 trending teams, our top 10 teams. This is a big switch up this week is, I think, 3 of our top 5 teams lost.
Yeah. The exact opposite of last week where everyone won.
Yeah.
This week everyone loses. Almost everyone loses. So do you want to start?
Yeah, so we have a tie for number 10. We had Pittsburgh and Kansas City as our number 10 spot. Kansas City dropping after losing to Buffalo. Pittsburgh with a great win over the Colts. I've been raving about them all year. They were in our top 5 at one point. They're right back in our top 10.
That's right. Number 9, dropping 5 spots, losing to the Panthers, is the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love not having his best game. They weren't ready for the Panthers' run game, and that's why they dropped to 9th.
Exactly. We'll move on to number 8. We had the Denver Broncos. Consistently getting wins just in weird ways sometimes.
Yeah, moving up 2 spots with that great defense of theirs.
Yep, 2 spots.
Number 7, the Colts also losing this week and dropping 5 spots after a tough loss. But let's see how they can rebound this week.
We move on to number 6. We had the Detroit Lions also dropping 5 spots. We're on number 1, dropped to number 6 in a surprising loss against Minnesota. Yeah, I don't know. This was their worst loss of the year.
They weren't ready.
They weren't ready.
They weren't ready. All right, number 5, looking very impressive in their Sunday night win, moving up 4 spots. Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold has this team humming.
Yeah, they're really good. Yeah, we move on to our number 4 spot, rising 2, even though they were on byes because of all the losses this week. We had the Eagles in our number 4 spot. I really moved them up just because of the trade stuff they did this week.
Yeah, great trades for the Eagles. And normally we don't move teams on by, but that was well deserved.
Yeah.
Number 3, with a big win, we talked about the team that won this game would go up, and the Bills move up 4 spots with a win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Allen looking like an MVP.
Yeah, if you told me this team's number 1 on your list, would not be mad. All these top 3 teams are deserving of the number 1 slot because they're all playing really well.
That's right. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't fault anybody for having these top 3 at the 1 spot.
Yeah, so we move on to our number 2, Tampa Bay Buccaneers in our number 2, rising 1, even though they were on bye. Really good team.
Yeah, and then, of course, if you're doing the math, that means that the Los Angeles Rams moved up 4 spots and took that number 1 spot with that very impressive win over the Saints. This Rams team looks good on both sides of the football.
This offense is great. As I said, I think they have an MVP candidate at quarterback. I really like the Rams. I think they are like the NFC champions so far this season.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that. I really like the Rams and the Bucs. I could put either one at number 1. And I really think the NFC is a 4-team race between Bucs, the Rams, the Eagles, and the Lions.
Yeah, okay, I could see that. So that's our top 10 teams. Let us know if we missed out anybody. New England just missed out on the list this week. They're consistently playing just good enough to win, but I could see if you had them in their top 10 at this point, as they are 7-2.
Yeah, hard to argue with the record, and you play who you play, but that's the reason we've kind of held back, is they don't have that impressive win against this really good team. So we'll see how this week plays out. Maybe they make the top 10.
They play the Bucs this week, so this is the prove it week. You beat the Bucs, you are a top 10 team. They will be skyrocketing if they beat the Bucs this week.
Quiz of the week.
Yeah.
All right.
Quiz question.
This was our deal or no deal week with the trade deadline, and so our question pertains to the NFL and trades. Not normally known for trades. The question is, what 3 NFL seasons have had the most in-season trades? In other words, trades before the deadline. Okay. If you can give me the year, I'll tell you how many players there were.
Okay, good. This year had a lot, but a couple of big trade years. So yeah, I think my first guess is going to be this year. I can't really think of anybody else.
I mean, that is a very good pick. This year did not quite make it, but it is one of the seasons with the most trades. Sorry.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
But yeah, very, very close to hitting the top 3.
All right, yeah, my second guess will be, this is just kind of a shot in the dark. I can't really think of any one specific player, but maybe, you know what, actually I'm going to go with the year, A.J. Brown got traded before the season though, so it won't count for this number. I'm still going to say that year, but I will go with 2022.
2022 is actually the season with the most in-season trades in NFL history, with 22 players.
Hey, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't believe I got that. It's crazy. So my last guess is just going to be like sugar on the cake. I'm going to go with, it's got to be more recent. It's just kind of more of a recent thing. So I will go with something like 2018 season.
Not a bad guess, but no.
Okay, I'm there.
So there are 2 left. You got number 1, still number 2 and number 3 left. And then also, if you can, just out of curiosity, in your lifetime, what's the trade that sticks out in your head the most?
A.J. Brown trade was pretty big.
It worked out pretty good for the Eagles, huh?
Yeah. Did the Ravens trade for Henry, or was that
I don't remember.
Yeah, so I thought when the Titans blew up, it just kind of surprised me because they were a good team. I think it was really just because Tannehill was aging, and they were like, if it didn't happen this year, it's not happening. So they just sold out and got rid of everybody.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right on that. So we're curious if you can get the question right, but also, what is the trade that sticks out to you most? What's the most famous trade in your mind?
That's a good question. I like that. That has been Week 9 recap, and of course, the trade deadline recap of the NFL season. Come back for the next episode where we'll talk about NBA and college basketball.
That's right. Deuces.